Well, it's been very exciting, and things have moved much faster than what I thought they would. I think it's no state secret that Kera at that phase in before 2008 was not in great shape, and that was the only Aegis Media company here. So the first task on hand was how do you relaunch, revamp Kera, and which I immediately started by changing the management, getting Kartika here in, getting people trained, sending them abroad, getting software systems and all of that. But while that was happening, I had thought that I would do things sequentially, but life overtakes you. There were big opportunities that came up, particularly in out of home and digital. So very quickly we set up Postascope, and that then took a life of its own and started doing very well. And today there are 4 outdoor companies that we have just under that. We set up digital, and today we've now got 2 digital companies. We set up digital with 2 people. We've today got 38 people on digital. And more opportunities came by. We set up Visium as our second agency, and what we found was that our offering in the market was very well received. So we capitalized on that. Interestingly, as soon as one other thing that happened to make things a little harder, but actually worked very well for us, is that the recession hit us around that, the slowdown hit us around that time. So this was around that period. Now, why it worked for us was that one is it got clients to review their spends, and that gave us an opportunity to go to them with newer and fresher propositions. So some established relationships we were able to shape, and more importantly, we were able to acquire very good talent. And one decision I took, which was at that time very scary, but in hindsight now appears to be a wise decision, is that I invested in talent ahead of the curve. I hired people of greater seniority than what the business then demanded, and now that's paying us great dividend because we've had huge growth, and now that we have such a brilliant team put together, that's now running away with business rapidly. And of course, quite recently we added Dusra. So it's been a very exciting breakneck speed 3 years, I can say. And financially, it's been very rewarding for us because for years Kera was making losses before that. It was a huge task first to turn it around, and we're very pleased that from this year onwards we are into profitability, and from next year we hope to be at the industry level margin of profitability. So it's been financially it's been a remarkable turnaround, and our revenues in this period have grown by 800%, and we couldn't even have imagined on that. And from maybe 35 or 40 people which were then there, today we have 210 people. We have offices including Postascope now in about 10 cities. So it's really been breakneck, but it's been fun. I'm a big believer in activation and events in India. I don't think you can give a comprehensive service to a client in India without having a proposition that takes care of activation, events, rural, that area. And I personally have a lot of experience in that. Because of that, we pretty early on in the day, we set up Kera Fresh Integrated, which started doing very well in the events and activation area. But one value which we were not able to add to a client was that in events and activation, you also need creative inputs. Now, what I find is that most creative agencies, their creative directors are only interested in making 30-second commercials or 100cc ads. They cannot think non-traditional media, they cannot think out of home, they cannot think out of the box in that sense. So therefore clients, because of that, we weren't able to help the clients because we didn't have a creative partner in our kitty. So I looked around, and finally I found Dusra, and one of the key reasons I selected to partner with Dusra was because they have this unique ability of giving equal respect to a 30-second ad or a 100cc print ad or a non-traditional media or a van design or an event creative or an out-of-home creative. And I think this will make it a very unique offering on that. They have above the line advertising expertise, but equally they have equal interest and expertise in non-traditional outdoor, those areas. So that's why it became very interesting for us. And there is a USP we have. One of the reasons I think we've done so well is because there is a USP that we have, and it's a USP, it's unique to us. What is happening is that I think the era is such that clients demand and need specialization, right? If you're talking about outdoor, you need an outdoor expert. If you're talking about digital, you need a digital expert. If you're talking about search, you need a search expert. So you need serious level of specialization. But what's happened with most agency groups is that that's got very mired up in siloization. So our USP is that we have one country P&L. we call it one Aegis, one country P&L. So everything, all of this speaks at me and therefore reports it to me, and therefore there's one P&L that goes out from India, even though we have separate individual business units and stuff like that. So therefore, we are, I think, the only people in the country who are able to offer all the benefits of specialization without the disadvantages of siloization. And I think that's a USP which I've seriously been working on, and it's proving now to be, it took 2 or 3 years to convince the market, but it's now proving to be a remarkable success. I mean, we are in the happy situation where sometimes we have to refuse business in some of our businesses because we don't want to take anything where we can't do justice. To me, it's not about how many ticks you get on the box, it's about how happy you're able to make the client. They're not divisions, they're all independent companies and all businesses on their own, and each of them are masters in their own. It's a P&L its own, which then peaks at a country P&L, and therefore outside of India it goes as one country P&L. But each has most of them are separate companies. So therefore not only P&L, they have their own balance sheets, their own board of directors, everything, and their own managing directors running them independently, right? The aim and objective is that each of them in their own areas must become the absolute experts in that area, because the let's say the ecosystem of each area of operation, the environment is very different. So outdoor has very different set of requirements than, for example, digital has, in terms of types of people, types of activity required, etc., etc. So we've allowed each of them to flourish in their own ecosystem, keeping the overall Aegis Media umbrella under it to encourage the entrepreneurialism. Most spectacular success which we've seen is in the out of home and in the digital areas. In out of home, from Postscope, one agency, we then set up a second out of home agency called Brandscope. We set up Hyperspace, which looks at retail, and in India retail is very, very big, as you know. And we've recently set up PSI, which focuses on airports advertising. It's the world's largest airports advertising business. So in Postscope Group, we've had remarkable success. Digital has been another area where we've been very successful. It's worked very well for us. And from only Isobar, we've also got iProspect, and therefore we now have 2 or 3 different businesses there. We've also done very well in, in Kera. What was happening was that we globally had a lot of clients, but we were not being able to, in the past, give them the full offering of services in India. So while we had the relationships, they weren't deep enough. Now with clients like Philips, Adidas, Reebok, BMW, Muthoot Group, Mattel, all of them, we've really, and several others, AirAsia, we've really cemented our ties. Not only through Kera but also through all the other businesses like Postscope, like Kera Fresh, like Isobar getting into it. So each of these businesses in their own way have been remarkable successes. Visium came in from a standing start. There was virtually no business, or in fact there was no business, a new business that we set up, and today they have 14 clients. So I would think that it's a team effort, it's a team, and I think each player has played his role very, very well. Each one of these companies in their own respective spheres should get into the top 2 or 3 players, okay, in each of theirs. And through that, our whole group, the Aegis Media group, must get into the top 3 players. Now, 3 years ago, this seemed like an impossible dream. We couldn't even dream of that, because remember that our competitors have been in this market for 70, 80, 90 years and are very big, and some of them are established for decades and have legacy creative agencies backing them. So it would have been foolish to even dream of it from where we were in 2008. But today, as I sit here in 2011, this looks like a reality which it looks like we're going to get to in a reasonable period of time. So if we are able to do that, we have to be the very best in whatever we do. So our digital guys have to be the best digital guys, our outdoor guys have to be the best outdoor guys, and the benchmark doesn't have to be the environment around us in India. In many of those areas, we're already the very best. In outdoor, for example, with the global knowledge of Postscope and professionalism it brings in, I think we're by far the best. But that's not our benchmark. Our benchmark has to be that you have to be world class. So if we are able to achieve that, and each of these businesses gets into the top 3 of their domains, I think as a group we'll be in top 3 before long. The single biggest issue that we face as an industry, it's not lack of capital, it's not lack of knowledge or anything, it is lack of good talent. I don't think as an industry we are either attracting or retaining the best talent, and because of the way the finances of this business are now structured and pressure on margins and so on, I don't think the input coming in is worse than the let's say people retiring or leaving or going out. I don't think as an industry we are competitive enough to be able to go to the best management schools and attract the best talent, which perhaps 15 years ago we could do as an industry, but I don't think today as an industry we are in that thing. So I would say the single biggest thing as an industry we need to address is quality of talent, and then of course the ability to retain it and grow it as we go. To that effect, for example, Aegis Media partners North Point. So North Point runs a program for training people in advertising and marketing with a specialization in media. We partner them and we actually run those modules. So we're in our own little way trying to do that. Of course, no one player can do enough for the industry. And then many of those students come and do their internships with us, and then many of them now are taking their final placements with us. So it's a small step, it's a baby step, but I think like that, the industry needs to do 50 other things to be able to grow the talent pool that's available, rather than just looking at poaching the same old 5 names from here and there. Biggest challenge that we had from day one was that our competitors are well entrenched and they've been here, like I said, for decades, many of them. That is always a challenge because you have to unsettle somebody who's very well grounded there. Initially it seemed a very difficult task to do, but the remarkable success, particularly of the last year or so, I mean the first year or two went in setting up all these businesses, getting them right, but the faith that the clients are reposing in us, the new businesses that we are being able to set up, our agility is now giving us confidence that we are on the right track and we will be able to do it. I think the other challenge that Aegis Group will face in India is that we are in a high growth phase. In a high growth phase, it's very important that your systems, your processes and your people development keeps pace with your growth, and that is always a challenge. So if we don't get that right, again we will find ourselves constrained. So we're putting a lot of focus on making sure that we're investing ahead of the curve and not behind the curve. We will always be open for any partnership of any kind, acquisition or otherwise, which adds value and is able to give great service to client. I believe that clients today want a single point where they can get all their services. So as of now, wherever we've been able to identify an opportunity, we've launched a business. But I want to make sure that wherever we launch these businesses, they should be the very best. As I said, have to be in the top 3, get into the top 3 where they are. So if we do spot another opportunity, we will definitely look at it. As of now, there is nothing particularly in that, but in general, there is a principle. We won't look at acquisitions or mergers or partnerships except if they satisfy one of the 3 criteria. One is scale. If there's something that helps us get scale, we'll definitely look at it. But in the Indian context, that's not going to be the norm because we're already pretty big out here on that and growing very rapidly. Second thing is that if there is some skill set that you don't have, like creative was a skill set we didn't have, and it would not be possible to grow it, or would take very long for it to grow it and incubate it. So it made a lot of sense to partner with Doosra, which had that skill set, right? And the third thing is if there's some company or something which comes up with something innovative, something new, which nobody else in the market has. So I think if you have to look for a partnership or a acquisition or merger or whatever name you give it, you have to see that it has to fill up one of these 3 criteria. Otherwise, there's no point in just, for the sake of it, partnering or acquiring or doing whatever. And if we do find any partners who do help us fit any of these 3, we are always open. We are agile, we are nimble, we are able to move fast, and we are entrepreneurial. So therefore, you will see a lot of action in our group because that's a part of our DNA. And we are on a high growth path in India, so obviously we'll be looking at those areas. We've got the basic ingredients in place. Isobar is now really big and taking off and doing things like apps and app developments, web development, end-to-end services on digital. So they are on a very good track. I think an area which we need to do more on is mobile. I think as a country we haven't yet sort of done much on mobile. So definitely that's an area we should be focusing and looking and developing. I also believe that search and performance marketing will become far more important in years to come, particularly as more and more search, smartphones come in, 3G comes in, more and more search starts happening over mobile and so on and so forth. So definitely in that area, we need to keep our eyes and ears open and shore up, either organically, inorganically. I don't know what the solution will be, but that's definitely an area I would like to concentrate on. Particularly if there is any bit of a slowdown, as there are signs of now in Europe and in US, you see how quickly the focus will come back onto performance. See, it's not one or the other. Brand building is an essential ongoing part of communication, and it has to be done. There's no point in just only doing tactical activities. But more and more there is a need for ROI, for proving that if I put in $1 in advertising or in communication or in outdoor or in whatever, what is the return that I have got? Nobody has the luxury of putting in money blindly and then forgetting about it. So I feel that search and performance will actually become focus areas. Maybe it may not happen in the immediate future. When I say maybe it might take, let's say, 3 to 5 years to happen, but it'll probably happen faster than what most of us predict. Yeah. And I want to be at the leading edge. I'm pretty clear that we will be at the leading edge of that curve when that happens. I don't think India will have a recession. There may be some element of a slowdown temporarily, but I don't think we will have a recession. Maybe the growth might slow down for a few quarters or maybe a year, but I don't think there'll be a recession. Definitely the sentiment I can see is turning. People are becoming more cautious. I don't think it's still translating into an action of either cutting advertising or reducing it or whatever, but certainly the sentiment has become more cautious, and usually that is a precursor to further action. To my mind, this festive season is going to be very important. If this festive season goes off well, I don't say this from the advertising point of view but from a consumer point of view, if the offtake is good for consumer durables, for automobiles, for financial products, etc., then I think we are over the difficult period. If for some reason the next 3 months don't pan out as well as they should pan out, then I think we will definitely be facing a little more of a slowdown for few more quarters to come after that. So this is a very crucial period which we should monitor carefully. I would say October to December. That's the period that we have to look at very carefully. In terms of your question on trends, one clear trend that I can see is that the over dependence on traditional media, whether TV, print, etc., will definitely come down, because the consumer today has so many more touch points. And I think that is going to be definitely an area where you will see that the whole mix will change. There'll be a lot more emphasis on digital, on out of home, on events, on activation, on connecting with the consumer in various ways, not just through TV or print. So I think that will be a definitive trend. And from an industry point of view, one thing which should happen, and if it doesn't happen, then I will make it happen, we will make it happen of our own, is that we don't have a single source research. I am very keen to bring into India CCS, which is our consumer connection survey, consumer connection system, which is the world's largest study in this area. It's a huge investment. If business does well the way it is doing, I'm pretty committed to bringing that into India soon, and I think that will be a sort of a game changer, because a lot of talk happened that we'll get single source data, so and so will come, so and so will come. 3 years only talk has happened, but nothing has come. So therefore, I'm seriously contemplating making that investment myself, as Aegis Media making that investment. We have the study which works in, I think, 30 or 40 different countries, and it's a gold standard in that. It's a very big investment, particularly in a country like India. So I'm contemplating that, and I think that will be a game changer if it does happen, because then you're able to track how a consumer relates to media and how his or her purchase decisions are dependent upon what media. So it's a much deeper research data than just viewership figures or readership figures. I mean, you just get some quantitative figures and you get things which you can't really relate to, because it's not completing the loop on that. So that puts India at a disadvantage actually. What I think will happen is that in every genre, whether you take GEC as one genre, you take news as another genre, you take whatever, different genres, and likewise in publications as well. In every genre, I think finally there will be space only for 2 or 3 players. At some stage there has to be some consolidation, some shakeout. You cannot have 30 players in each genre and all 30 of them doing well. So I think somebody will cannibalize somebody else, somebody will buy out someone else, someone will merge with someone might fail and die on the way, etc. But in the long run, it will stabilize at a level where in each genre there are about 3 key players. There may be a few fringe players here and there. So I see that as a definitive possibility. I also see, particularly as far as print is concerned and even television, a lot more emphasis on regional and local advertising. So far we've been very national focused. What is national? I mean, national is today India is much deeper than few metros or top 20 cities or whatever that you get to, and a person sitting in a small town or a village is more interested in news and information around him rather than what is happening 3000 miles away from him. So I think slowly, with better education, better connectivity, better electricity moving in, TV penetration increasing, print literacy increasing, and print going deeper, I think you'll see a lot more of regional thrust sort of coming in media. And of course, digital will be hopefully a remarkable game changer. Digital coupled with mobile, because that's convergence.